Hello and welcome back to How Not to Code with General Buckles, or as apparently I'm told it's now called, vibe coding. Don't get me started on that. I'll fall down a rabbit hole of ranting and whatnot. This is actually part 2 of a segment I'm working on that's Fallout themed. Vault Tech Your PC. I am building a hardware monitor app that is for a larger Fallout themed project. As many people are well aware, Season 2 of Fallout, the TV show on Amazon Prime, is going to be dropping in December. And I wanted to do something a little fun since I'd already made my test bench out in my workshop, Fallout themed. And then also this laptop. I just wrapped it. I didn't do anything special. But I thought it was cool, so I did that. So my next phase, or my thing I'm going to do for the next season, I found this blue retro PC case on Facebook Marketplace. And I thought it would be really cool because you see it has this door that opens up right here. What I would love to do is get a little Raspberry Pi and get a little small screen and install that screen right here so that when you open that door, you have a little hardware monitor screen, right? And a Raspberry Pi is running that screen, and that Raspberry Pi is getting the signal off a USB header on the PC that's built into this case, and giving you stats from inside the machine, but it has to be kind of, within the theme of things. So this is where we are with the app thus far. It's permanently fixed at this size because it needs to fit on that screen, and I don't care about it being resizable. But you got this little start screen. Open it up, and boom, you've got network activity. The spikes up are uploads, i.e. this stream is going up, and any down spikes are downloads. There's no downloading happening right now. You got your drives and capacity. And then your CPU, GPU, and RAM usage. This is just CPU load, GPU load, and RAM usage. And of course, it's all very well Fallout themed. In the last stream, we made some tweaks and modifications, got this logo to fit properly. It was all squished and weird. I've had to space out some of this text and all of that. And actually published the first version executable that you can download if you're interested in it. It's on my GitHub, linked in the description below. There are some bugs. It is wildly inefficient. It's doing way too much. It's taking up a lot of CPU and GPU load just to run, which is not what you want from a hardware monitor. You want it to be minimal. So that's something that we're going to try and address tonight. We're going to work on efficiency. And this ticker at the bottom. This ticker at the bottom is supposed to be pulling any warnings, errors, or critical messages from the event viewer. And nothing is coming through. And I've looked. I've had a few warnings here and there while playing with this app, and nothing is popping up on that ticker. So we got to figure out what's the problem there. Little background if you're just tuning in. Hi there. I am not a coder, not a programmer. Don't know squat about most of this. I've been teaching myself how to use Python and how to play with this stuff using CODEX, which is a agent from ChatGPT, and watching YouTube videos. And apparently what I've been teaching myself is vibe coding. Fine, cool, whatever. I'm just having fun. I do not fancy myself a coder by trade because I don't really know code that well. I understand the logic of the behavior of these things, and I'm learning how all this kind of works, and just having fun along the way. This is mainly a means to an end so that I can get this project completed the way I want it to. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the chat there. But let's get started. Our first thing for this evening is the inefficiencies. So what I discovered, let me pull this up real quick. None of that is what I want. There we go. Let's go. Okay, this is a screenshot of the app running on my laptop, which is the thing that I draw on the screen from earlier today. A few things I noticed. One, there is a AMD GPU chip in the laptop, but this app was not designed for AMD GPUs, so it isn't able to pull any information about it. So it only put in language for NVIDIA. So I got to fix that. And then also you'll notice here while running, and this is while running in Python, pull in 10% of the CPU. And it was fluctuating between like 8 to 10% of the, and that's a Ryzen 5, I think 4,000, Ryzen 5 5,000, 4,000. That's unacceptable. So we're going to ask Codex to analyze the code base and come up with some suggestions for how to optimize the code. Why is it running, so heavy? I don't even know if that's the right term. But if you haven't used Codex, let me give a quick little introduction to it. Codex is a cloud-based software engineering agent used to fix bugs, review code, do refactors, I should Google that, and fix pieces of code in response to user feedback. I'm good at giving feedback. Basically, you feed it a prompt, and you have two options. You can either ask it a question or just tell it to code something. And it links directly to your GitHub repository, pulls the entire code base, looks at it, devises a solution, and then gives you the option to drop that solution in. Unlike if you were to be talking back and forth with, say, ChatGPT proper, just having a conversation. And I have had that. I started this project out as a conversation back and forth here with just ChatGPT. I kept having to give it copies of my Python file and have it look it over, because it'll lose the context and lose the thread of the conversation if this conversation goes on too long, right? And if you start making too many changes, it can get confused and hallucinate and stuff like that. Codex doesn't do that. Codex looks at your GitHub repository every time it analyzes something, every time it's going to make a suggestion. So it's looking at the most recent iteration of your code base and making its suggestions based on that. So that's one great element to it. The other one is this right here. This is a rather large project that I'm working on separately from this. Has lots of Python and individual Python files. And to add a feature to this program I was working on, it had to make changes in all these files, add new ones. And these are the changes over here that it made to this particular file, right? It added everything in green. Here's all these new lines of code, and it's deleting all the red ones. And I can choose to basically copy this patch for this file, or I can copy the entire patch right here for the entire code base. I paste that into VS Code over here, and it makes all the changes instantly. So if you haven't tried Codex and you are familiar, with GitHub and use that regularly, Codex is pretty dope, especially for someone who doesn't know squat like me. Going back to what we were doing tonight, working on our Fallout themed hardware monitor app. We want to optimize this because it's right now. Actually, let's take a look at right now. Whoop, go away. Stop. There we go. Vault-Tec monitor. Now, this is a different CPU. This is a 9500X, I'm sorry, 5900X. Ryzen 9 5900X. Taking 2%. I still think that's pretty high, right? So we got to bring that down. I've already asked Codex to look at this so that you didn't have to sit around and wait for it. The final version of this app is running CPU heavy. Analyze the code base and look for optimization opportunities. And it did. It found high CPU usage, drawing the scan lines. So there's tiny little lines that make up this sort of green background, give you that old CRT green screen look. It's drawing these 200 plus thin lines every frame. So my GPU load is, I don't have GPU on here. Performance. It's going to be hard to tell what, yeah. I thought I could add GPU to this list here. But anyway, GPU load is being, the stream is obviously handling a lot of that right now. But drawing these little lines repeatedly. The gauge frames and tick marks are redrawn with trigonometric calculations on every loop iteration. So these tick marks, why? Why would you redraw the tick marks? Utility functions like draw bar and draw graph, which would be this graph down here. This is network traffic. Are instationate fonts on each call, causing repeated font loading and object creation. So basically this entire image that we're seeing is being constantly recreated rather than a static image with only the elements that need the change changing. This iterates through all disk partitions, each frame, which performs system calls and disk queries that are expensive when done 30 times per second. Yeah. So it made suggestions, pre-render the scan line overlay. So just once, these little lines. Gauge or cache the gauge frame and fonts. Okay, cache that. Reuse font objects across drawing helpers. And throttle disk usage sampling. And I think that's for these meters there. So those are the suggestions that it had. I said, go ahead and make those changes and optimizations. And it proposed 50 new lines of code and subtracting 36 existing lines. Ooh, big chunk right there. So all I need to do is copy the git apply. Boom, copied to the clipboard. Come over here to VS Code. And let's see, in git bash. Just going to paste that git apply that I copied from Codex. It drops all the instructions in for the patch. I hit enter and applied patch cleanly. 6 times apparently. That's weird. All right. Close. There we go. So we've applied the patch. You got to save. And now we are going to run it again. Shouldn't look any different. It doesn't. Let's pull up Task Manager. Whoa. Vault-Tec monitor is now pulling 0.5%. So that's 2% down. That's, in terms of a 5900X, I think that's pretty good. Just instant optimization, just making those changes that were just repeating renders or rendering things every frame needlessly. So that's right off the bat, that is a big win. So I'm going to make that change. And then now that I have made that change, I'm going to have to apply those changes back up to GitHub, because the next thing I ask Codex to do, it's going to go take a look at what's at GitHub, and it better be the most recent version that we've just patched. It can't just send this patch that it created straight to GitHub and apply it there, which it'd be interesting if they added that feature, because that's just putting a lot of trust in in the model. So okay, gonna add that. Git commit. All right. Major optimization. One file changed. Good. Git push, not pish, but push. And done. There we go. All right, so now when we ask Codex for the next thing, it will have the most recent version of the app to look at, which we have here. If you have any suggestions of what this app should or shouldn't be able to do let me know. Curious about other people's thoughts, especially if you're a Fallout fan, like what things you would like to see in the app, or that you would want if you were to use it. And again, if you're just tuning in, you can download the version of this. The first release is available on my GitHub, linked in the description below. It does not have the optimizations yet that we just did, or any other changes that we're going to make tonight. So as we mentioned earlier, this is a version of it that was on my laptop. It does not have anything for AMD GPUs. I gave it to a friend to look at, and it didn't even occur to me. Also, some people have Intel GPUs. Some, don't judge. Some people do. I think the B580 is pretty well respected, right? So we're going to make that our next step for Codex. So currently the program only supports monitoring GPU loads from NVIDIA brand GPUs. Please analyze the code base and recommend a patch that will support NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel GPUs on the GPU load gauge. I don't know if I have to spell it out that clearly, but why not? All right, so these are some of the other repositories it has access to. We're working on the pip dash monitor, and I'm going to ask it for 2 versions of this fix. And code base is 1 word, right? There we go. All right, so go ahead and generate 2 versions of that. So now let's take a look at it. It'll show you what it's doing. It's going to GitHub and pulling the entire thing to get the freshest version and analyze it. Hold on, go away. Sorry, I want to... This is looking at my GitHub here. We have the 3 issues that I wanted to address tonight, if possible. Right now, we're working on this one here. We have successfully addressed that one. And the event viewer ticker. Ugh, that one's going to be tough, I think. Because I'm not familiar enough with the lingo about what the event viewer is or how it works. And I'm worried I'm not describing it right to Codex or ChatGPT when I'm asking it, like, hey, can you give it the ability to monitor that? Because it's a folder, but it's active, right? It's an active log. So it's weird. Okay. We're just watching the Codex still work on version 1. Right now it's reading the Python script. Compressing objects aren't covered by MZML. The app will just show NA for GPU. Whoa, wait, what? See, now I'm worried it'd be really weird if I can't build the AMD functionality into the app unless I had an AMD GPU. Like, that seems weird. Oh, it's updating my README file too. Okay. Good evening. If you're just joining us, we are working on a Fallout-themed hardware monitor app that eventually will be put inside, well, kind of, installed on a Raspberry Pi, and in this retro case that I'm going to deck out with a Fallout theme to it. I'm going to install a vertical screen right here, and it'll have these little gauges on it, giving the user a permanent hardware monitor on the front of their PC case. And right now we are just waiting for this. Ooh, we have 2 versions. Let's take a look. All right, version 1. Added detection and sourcing for NVIDIA NVML, AMD's ROMcom, and Intel's GPU, plus a dynamic header label for the active GPU backend. That's interesting. Updated GPU detection logic, so the load gauge now parses utilization from whichever vendor tool is available, including Intel. Okay, that's kind of what I'd hope you do. Make sure my head isn't covering this. Revised documentation with setup instructions for vendor GPU tools on NVIDIA. Oh, there's setup instructions. Pi win to event viewer system. Do I need to install any pip? Do I need to pip any modules for this? It's not really indicating that. All right. There are 71 new lines of code, 18 being removed, 14 new lines in my README file. Yeah, what changes are you making to my... Okay, you're just listing all the vendor tools for the GPU gauge. Pip install pin NVML, I already did. For AMD install, oh, okay. So the user does have to install these things. Read the instructions, folks. Because I've already pipped Pi NVML when I made this app originally. But it's Windows system log ticker. Why is that? I've also have like high hopes of making this work on Mac too. It's gonna be a weird. I'm gonna branch this off and GitHub and try that. Is anyone watching a Mac user that plays with Python? You want to tackle that? You can do a special branch on GitHub and you can tackle that. Let me know. All right, cool. So now we're just going to, since we have two files here, instead of copying from the individual file, I'm going to go up top and take the entire patch for both files. Come back over here to the bash. Paste the patch. Applied patch. Cleanly. Very nice. We are going to close the app. Run the new one. Dynamic header label for the active GPU backend. Oh, that's what this is up here. So the data source NVML is referring specifically to the GPU load. That's what this is. Just little header is right here. I've been kind of wondering that. Okay, so how do I know this is going to work on AMD? Luckily, I've got my laptop here, which has an AMD GPU. So let's go ahead and switch. By the way, I sometimes like to brag about this, but I am using this keyboard here by a company called Clevatura. It's a touchpad. You can touch and then just start typing. Scroll, 2 fingers, and then start typing. It's awesome. And it's connected to all my computers, different Bluetooth channels, and a direct plug-in as well. So I could have up to 4 computers that I could be switching back and forth between. They had this on a Kickstarter a while back, but now they're selling them on their website. All right, so what I want to do is pull the most recent version of Okay. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. All right. So this is all saved. So make sure nothing's changed. Okay. So this is all saved. So now we need to nice. I was on the wrong computer with my keyboard. That was fun. All right, so all right, those two changes were made. Add AMD and Intel support for GPU gauge. Cool. Awesome. All right, and over here on the laptop, we want to do that's not a word. That is not a word. It's not a directory of any parent directories get. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is going to be weird. Never done this before. Hold on. Can I pull this down? There we go. Copy that. Monitor main. Okay. I hadn't considered this option before. Let's ask. ChatGPT how to connect this. All right. Is it true saying please repeatedly to ChatGPT is like a bad thing? Yeah, I did all that. I did all that. Yeah. Method A. Git clone. Oh, okay. Paste your from GitHub EG. Pick a folder where the repo should live. Okay. Let's try it. We need to do Control-Shift-P. Where's my mouse? Control-Shift-P. Why is that? Something's going on. Okay, that needs to turn off. Yes. Thank you. Sorry, another git clone. Provide repository. Okay. Oh, I gotta pick where it's gonna live. I want it to live. Nope, not there. Here. Okay. There we go. So this should be the new version, the AMD data source OS. Okay. Clearly not working. But since we're here, this was the one that had like 10% CPU utilization earlier. It now has 7 or 8. That's still pretty high. Right? That seems excessive. All right, well, we'll explore that more later. Let's continue on. So our data source, you can't see it. I'm sorry. There we go. So the header at the top is now changed from NMVL or something to OS. So there's no GPU thing there. But remember, there were some instructions in the README file. AMD. There are 13 mentions of AMD. Let's take a look at them. Pip install. Is it possible that I just didn't install that on this laptop? And that's the problem? What is it? PyNVML. Let's see. Yeah, requirement already satisfied. So I already had that. PyWin32. Here we go. For AMD, install Rockham SME AMD SME. What is that? Refer to tools used for monitoring and managing AMD GPUs with the ROCm ecosystem. Predecessor. Okay, so there's this. Find the source code here at GitHub. AMD SMI ROCm SMI AMG SMI. Okay, this is the most recent version. Asset is the source code. This isn't scary at all, is it? Whoa. That is massive. Okay. I've installed it. GitHub. Is there an executable in here? Here we go. There's a README. Let's read you. AMD System Management Interface, library offers, unified tool, blah, blah, blah. At initial release, library will support Linux. I don't care about Linux. Installation. Install the library and CLI tool. Okay, there's a link here. Following are required to install user throughout the AMD GPU driver must be loaded. Okay. Oh no, API. I have not messed with APIs yet. Why is this? Wait a minute. This is just Linux. There's nothing in here about Windows. Yeah. So this is might be a case of ChatGPT having a bit of a brain fart. Let's go have a talk with Mommy about this. Codex told me to install. Whoa. Codex told me to install. Sorry. Downside to a touch keyboard. You move your fingers at all, the entire thing just disappears. AMD SMI ROCm to add AMD GPU monitoring to the pip-app. Does that software work on Windows or only Linux? Is there another? If it does work on Windows, how to install. I don't like having these conversations back and forth with Codex because it will go and like look at the code base every time you ask a question. We don't need that. This is just going to take its sweet time. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are working on a Fallout-themed hardware monitor app. As seen here, tracks network traffic, storage drive loads, RAM usage, GPU and CPU loads. At the moment, we are troubleshooting how to add AMD GPUs and Intel to this capability. At present, we do not have that ability. And the solution that Codex has given us is this convoluted thing I got off GitHub. It told me to get the AMD SMI Rock'em. So, yep. Now we're asking ChatGPT what the heck this is. And whether or not there are other solutions or how to download or install that weird thing I just got off AMD's website. Short version, AMD is Linux only right now. Okay, then why the heck? Okay, right there. Right there. You know what we didn't do? You know what we didn't do? We didn't look at version 2. I looked at the first version. Didn't look at version 2. Version 2 doesn't tell me how it's adding AMD and Intel support, though. Utilization and VRAM data. Okay. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Grab the ADLX SDK zip from the official repos releases, unzip it. Okay. Build and run the included samples and to confirm metrics come through. The doc calls out Windows specifically. Integrate into Pinterest by writing a tiny C++ helper. You want me to write a... I can barely read the code, Python code. Wait a minute. Yeah, Windows can already read my GPU load because it shows up in Task Manager. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I want to roll back this where we are right now in VS Code. All right. All right, here we go. All right. How do I roll back to a previous commit in VS Code? Yeah, definitely destructive if I have later commits. Yeah, I don't want the most recent commit. Because if we look, whoa. Sorry, hold on. Something's wrong. There we go. Sorry, my Stream Deck was being stupid. All right. Let's go back to my profile, my repositories. Is there a list of commits? Nope. $16 commits. Add AMD GPU support. We want the major optimization one. So let's go back. Actually move your branch pointer back so the commit becomes the latest. Destructive, yes. All right. So 1, just check out. Nope. We want to roll back, reset branch to previous commit, rewrite history. Install Git lens extension. Cool. All right, let's try that. Oh, it's an extension. That would be down here. I don't see Git lens. Git blame. VSX lens, diff lens. This is Git lens extension. Is that one word? Is it because I didn't write it as one word? There it is. Why not? I'll trust the publisher and install. Okay. Main 22 minutes ago. Great bomb. Connect to see PRs and issues here. Recent. Current work item. Yep. Ah. It wants me to use my phone to authorize this. That's fun. How does it know I even use Git Mobile? Sorry. I've never had to do this before. Oh, confirm digits. You don't get to know what those digits are. Pro trial. Oh, great. It's going to cost me money eventually. Let's get this over with. Remind me to uninstall whatever the heck I just did. Reset current branch to this commit. Right click on the commit in the log. Where's the log? Visualize repo history. How do you close this? Choose a branch or tag to switch to revision. Create new macro. No, just go away. How do you close this? I've never seen, this is an interesting way to visualize your repo. Thank you. Fallout dashboard, choose folder. Minus 33,000 lines of code. Plus 33,000 lines of code. I don't know what this is. No changed file. I don't know what this window's all about. I want it to go away. Open in commit graph. Reset branch to this commit. All right, so there should be no mention of AMD. If that just worked, whatever I just did. Detect AMD and Intel GPU helpers. What part of... That didn't really work, did it? Open source. In VS Code, open the source control panel. Which one's that? Sorry, this is kind of boring to watch. as I try and figure this whole thing out. Look around to actually move. So get lens, did that. Current, did that. Pick our terminal. Find the commit hash. Get log online. Get log online. Okay, well then what do you want me to do? History restored. Ah, there it is. Follow down, get status your branch. Finish mode completed. BD20D. Get reset hard. This might not work. Reverse my mistakes. Your branch is behind one commit and can be fast forwarded. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. Git push. Gotcha. I have to do git force with lease. Git push force with lease. Now, if we go look at our list of commits, remove build, major optimization. All right. We are back where we were 20 minutes ago. I did not need that stupid extension. How could I uninstall git lens? Uninstall. That was fast. I'm learning to really enjoy GitHub and all the safety measures built into it. So, anybody who's watching, say hi. Let me know I'm not alone here. All right, if you are just joining us, we are trying to get the most out of this Fallout-themed hardware monitor app. The AMD and Intel GPU problem is what we're trying to solve. Last check, Codex. Oh, I moved you over here. That's why. Boop. Go away. Codex offered us two options. I didn't even look at the second option like an idiot. None of you said anything, by the way. All two of you. It's claiming it added back-end support, but I don't know enough to know how. There also begs this question, and this is silly. My laptop has, I think, an APU, not integrated graphics, not a separate GPU chip, maybe. So let's see. About your PC. Graphics card. Yeah, AMD Radeon graphics, 396 megabytes. With, yeah. So it's integrated. So it's not even going to show up. Is it? Right? Is that how an integrated CPU would work? It wouldn't show up separately on like a GPU. I mean, it shows up here in Task Manager as a GPU. So why wouldn't it show up on that app? That's just weird. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull what's going on here? PowerShell. There we go. Untracked files. Oh yeah. Let's just delete that altogether. Bye-bye. That was that. I don't think we are. I don't think we are up to date. Let's go git reset hard. Whoa. Don't need that. What was it we saw over here? Oh yeah, we need the, okay. Git reset hard, and then we need the ID number for the commit, which was will be D20D. There we go. All right, let's run it, see what we get. Oh, interesting. Got errors. Line 1, character 7. Import arg parse. I have no characters in line 1. Something's wrong. There we go. Still no GPU load. Data source OS. All right, so let's go with Codex's option number 2. Can't hurt, right? Applied patch cleanly. Ooh, according to this, right there. Close the previous one, get a new one. Of course it's going to work here. I don't have an AMD GPU. Let's go ahead and save. We're just going to do something monumentally stupid. Copy. Paste. Yeah, we're just going to do something stupid. We're just going to literally move it through iCloud rather than futzing around. There she is. Copy. Paste. Replace file and destination. Boom. Easy enough. Now this is the one from the other computer. Still no GPU load. But clearly Windows can see it. What does that say right there? TM something. Oh, that's just trademark graphics. All right, well, I do not know how to fix this. Get a little frustrated with it. I want to make progress, you know? So we had one other task we were going to tackle tonight. git reset hard BB D20D. Thank you. All right, we're now back at the most recent stable version. And the other thing we wanted to do tonight, the ticker at the bottom of the app. That's not a good example. Let's just run the app. This ticker down here is supposed to come from Event Viewer. If you're familiar with Event Viewer, it has all these different logs. There's this system. That's not even a folder. That's a log. It's a system log in a Windows folder. Okay, so Windows log system log. Copy. And just to be sure, because Codex is about to go talk to GitHub. Okay, as you can see right here, this is the most recent commit for the main branch. Just making sure you don't want to screw that up. Okay, the ticker at the bottom of the main window is supposed to display warnings and errors from the Windows Event Viewer, specifically the Windows log system log. Windows logs system log. Within the event viewer, it appears to not be pulling expected items from that log. Please analyze codebase and recommend a solution for simply showing all events from the previous 60 minutes. So basically, everything in the system log will be scrolling across the bottom. That is the hope. This is probably the most atypical thing that a hardware monitor would have. I guess it's more of a system monitor. It's kind of what we're aiming for. But we'll revisit this GPU stuff later. Our optimization one we can archive. That worked just fine. All right. Let's ask it to work on those two. So it's going to give me two versions of this. We'll let that work. There are two of you here. So if you are just joining us, we are working on a Fallout hardware monitor that is going to get installed into a little Raspberry Pi that will be operating a screen on the front of this case that will get a cool Fallout makeover. That screen will get installed here, hopefully with the help of a friend who's got a 3D printer and can make a little frame for that screen to go in. But there's going to be lots of room inside the drive bays, which are all in here, for a Pi, for other things. Got some lighting options maybe I could do. The fans on the rear, that's going to be a tough one. I want to, because I'm not building the computer, I'm just customizing the case. I'm going to, give away the case in a little giveaway contest. and let somebody build whatever computer they want inside. So I've got to make it cool and customized, but also leave, make it a useful case for a modern computer. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking, hold on. Gotta try and pause it right when he goes. There we go. So right here on the top, putting a fan there, and then perhaps some kind of cowl, like a 3D printed cowl that would go across the top. That's not a good color to choose. Go across the top, kind of cover this whole area, and blow the air back that way. It comes out of the fan, but kind of give it a cool little over-the-top race car look. Yeah, we'll see. So that is the plan. Let's check out what Codex is working on for us. Let's see here. Summary. After asking it that question, the ticker uses syslogtail.poll to read a Windows system event log, but it filters events so only those whose severity bits equal error or warning are kept. See, this isn't true. If I look at my system logs right now, I've got 2 warnings from over an hour ago that we never saw under here. Like down here at the bottom. Because many system entries have severity bits marked info, the filter skips them, causing the ticker to miss relevant records. Default message also specifically mentions warnings or errors. I know it does. I told it to. But you can't debug this. Remove severity filtering and use event type. Replace severity logic with direct event type. My concern is that I don't want, wrong folder. I don't want like all of these events. I just want Windows log system. So I'm hoping that that's this system log tail.poll that it mentions right here is what it's specifically pulling from. Drop the critical case. Wow, this is interesting. It's not even giving me a patch. It's just saying, like, drop the critical special case. Event types get ... full ID. So I have to go find this in the code. All right, so right here. Event types, info. It was already there. Max events 100. Keeping newest events first. Full ID get attributes. So that's what we're looking for. Something that says full ID get attributes. Here we go. Full ID get attributes 0 or 0. We have that. Full ID 30. So severe event types. You want me to change this? Oh, I'd rather you give me a patch. I feel like I'm going to screw this up if I start trying to replace all these. Because there's all these elements tied to rating severity. Error, critical, warning, and we're replacing it with just 2 lines of get attribute, event ID. Drop the previous block, derived a critical level. Level equals severity, see? Critical, source. It's still working on version 2. So I'll let it work on that. I'd rather just give me a patch for this. Here's the patch. Remove 3 lines, add 1. Yeah, we're going to do that. Actually, we're going to grab the whole thing. Cool. Let's try it. Save. It was applied cleanly. Can you see that? There it is. Applied cleanly. Copying and pasting the patch. Let's close the existing version. Open a new version. No recent events in the last hour. I clearly have an event from 10 minutes ago. Yeah. Edit. Undo. That was dumb. Yeah. Hard reset that, baby. There we go. All right, so that didn't work. And version 1 didn't even offer me patches. It just said, make these changes. System log tail.poll. Okay. These options did not render any results in the ticker. Event viewer. You can't see anything I'm typing. It's all behind me. The event viewer claims the source of its system logs entries is win 32K. Is that something that can help solve this problem? Now, ChatGPT told me a while ago that codex is not good. So this is the question we just asked. The codex isn't good at contextual conversations or giving it vibe coding per se. You have to be very direct and whatnot. And I found that you really can kind of ask it some questions and give it concepts for it to evaluate and context for it to. Okay, hold on. The user is asking about the Win30-day log issue. I'll inspect the repo for clues. I'll look throughout for system log tail and ticker logic. Looks like the 1 second output got cut off. I'll try running it once more. I see files. Let's search for system log tail or Windows event logs. It's like its whole logic, its conversation. I recommend removing severity filtering and using event type, but still no results. Maybe source filter is the issue. Event type should be consistent. It's severity bit mapping causing issues or overlooking filtering. Maybe recno check or permission issues are preventing the event log from populating correctly. I'll check after 720 to understand how the ticker is being used. I don't know what. This is something I've never heard of before. Recno? No idea. I'm just shocked that we're over 700 lines of code with this thing. Remove the severity-based filtering. We tried that. Drop the critical branch of uniform handling. Replace the fallback message. You did that. That's what I'm saying didn't work. Okay. All right. I'll let you try again. Give me a different patch. Whoa. All right. Where were we? So, modifying this case. So, adding a cowl on top could be kind of cool. I think, at least. Too small, 90. There we go. That's give me a better. So basically, kind of like that. And then there's a fan right here blowing up, and all of our pretty warm air is coming out the back. That's one option. All right, he's done. All right, you say that you did it. Oh, it's not going to work because I got to roll back to the previous version of this. Oh, I'm on the wrong keyboard. does not match index. So if even a single character is wrong in your code and you try to put in one of these codex patches, no joy. You've got to run the exact script, or you got to have the exact script that it's expecting when it makes those changes. All right, so now we can go back to here. Clean. So you say, all right, let's run it and find out. Close the old one. No events in the last hour. I don't get it. There's clearly events. They're all right here. 8:55. It is 9:07. But here's the annoying part. I've got to commit this. Failed. What are we going to call this? Failed ticker fix. Okay, so now I've pushed that to GitHub. So next time I ask this question, it'll base it off the changes it's made. So 3 minutes ago, refractory severity, yeah. Here we go. These are okay. Okay. The last patch was meant to fix the event viewer ticker. It is still not showing any events of any severity. Please, although the Windows event viewer is clearly showing events within the last hour. Please analyze and propose solutions. If you are just joining us, we are working on a Fallout themed system monitor. Not calling it a hardware monitor anymore, because clearly with the current problem we're trying to tackle, no events from the event viewer. Even these two warnings, these two errors, all of that, none of it's showing up. So while we wait on that, though, because Codex is going to sit here and work on this for a little while, let's ask ChatGPT take a look at it. Okay. Whoa. All right. The event viewer system logs that are supposed to appear in the ticker are not showing up, even though the Windows event viewer is showing plenty of entries. Please advise on possible causes and solutions. So if I've GPT-5 and Codex fight over our affections, try to win us over, would you? Because it really is like, I really feel like this is an important element to what I want this software to do. Secretly, my hope is that one of you guys watching knows what the issue could be. So let's see what Codex is up to. Ah, here we go. Timestamp conversion prevents any events from being recorded. Formats the event time is an object. So this call raises a type error. The exception is swallowed, leaving the buffer empty and the ticker always reporting no events. Fix timestamp conversion in the event logs. For the event logs. Silent exception handling hides underlying problems. The poll method wraps the entire event processing loop in except exemption pass. So runtime errors such as a timestamp bug are suppressed without any diagnostic output. Add error reporting to Windows Event Poller. The ticker only monitors the system log. The poller is hard-coded to read the system log. If an application or other log, the ticker says empty. Nope. I just want the system log. I'm not trying to go crazy here. And the reason being is that you try to cram too much into this little ticker here, it's pointless. Maybe you could add a second ticker that moves a little slower, like the stock tickers. You ever notice that on the news? When there's NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, they just move at different speeds. And that's how your brain can like kind of differentiate and track each one. Event ticker shows despite recent events. Compares time generator to float timestamp formats it via so the composition formatting raised exceptions which are swallowed, resulting in empty buffer, no ticker. Normalize window event timestamps before comparison and formatting. Okay. I like version 2 better because I don't want to worry about anything other than the system log. Version 2 just tackles the timestamp and silent exceptions being suppressed. So let's see here. Create a patch for both of these issues. Well, that works. Let's see what ChatGPT had to say about the whole thing. Likely causes. PyWin32 not active in the interpreter you're running. No. Nope, still showing no events. Oh, no events. It's getting tedious. No events. That pym pip install pin. We could try it. $32. Yeah, already satisfied. We already have that installed. Timestamp mismatch most likely. Yeah, that's what Codex thought too. Codex is still working on that. Done. All right. Pip dash does not match index. What did I change? So now we have to go back to GitHub. Code. What is the name of the most recent commit that it's basing this off of? Shoot, where were all those commits at? There we go, 16 commits. There we go. Failed ticker fix. We need to do git reset hard 9C 309 B2. Yep. Okay. So this should be good. That's what this was based on. This whole patch should be based on that. This happened to me the other night where, like, I had the most recent commit. This is so weird. It's saying, what is... It's adding date, time, and logging right there. It's saying that I don't have the right version installed here, but I do. I'm trying to find like what could be the potential differences. Between the two. It's adding 2 lines above this. That's line 27. I'm just looking for like anything could potentially be different. That's so weird. Workspace. Root. Will it tell me what version of the commit? Short work, normalize, event timestamps. Does it reference what commit it's pulling from? Origin main. Fetch head, switch to branch work. Deleted old work was this. Git C workspace monitor, reverse parse head. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. Configuring language routines. Old work, C, fetch head, switch to new branch work. Deleted all branch BBD 20D. Why is it operating off the wrong commit? We could try that. Git reset hard BBB D20D. Okay. All right, I've rolled it back a version that Codex should not have been using. Yeah, it doesn't match index. I know it doesn't. This is fun, not at all embarrassing. C 309 B2. Failed ticker fix. Like, how weird is that? I've got to try and find... Fetch head, origin main. Deleted branch old work. Why does it say internet off? That's weird. Workspace, but like, does the patch even indicate like what commit it was basing it off of? I feel like it should. By the way, this initially had temperatures, which you can't get, not without some APIs. Still has temperatures built into the code that should just go away. They don't. Codex has never tried to remove them. We're looking for a 7-digit alphanumeric indicator of what commit it is using. Because apparently it's not using either of the last two commits. Any suggestions? Anybody? Like, you think the patch would even say it? To be, is it somewhere buried in this crap? And this is why you should go to school for coding. You get lost like I do. If you're just joining us, a handful of you that are here, this is our Fallout themed system monitor app, and we're trying to fix this ticker on the bottom. See, and it has like this workspace ID number that looks similar to a commit ID, but it's not the same. Get C workspace monitor branch old work. Work old work. Work fetch head. Switch to new branch work. Delete branch old work was this. Remove origin. Nothing to commit. 9C 309B2. Right there. That's what I have. All right, this is just... Let me just try again. Let me open it fresh. All right. Get status. Your branch is up to date with origin main. Origin main is that one. Get reset. Well, let's just try it like this. Don't know what happened. It applied the patch cleanly. Sometimes turning it off and turning it back on again can save you 20 minutes of crap. It's right there. It's right there. Sorry, this is hard to see. I've got data. I don't know how good it is. Info, Win32K, blah, 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 touchpad, hardware, quality assurance, verification, succeeded. Yeah, that's the most recent one. So it should show everything from the last hour. That's at 8:55. I like how I was doing military time. Yes. Are you as excited as I am on this? I wasn't going to give up. 9:06. Was half an hour ago. Basically everything from the last hour, I think. It's simply every time that I was switching my keyboard from the laptop to the something's not happy over here. Every time I switch my laptop, my keyboard from the laptop to the desktop, back and forth, it was re-verifying this touchpad because the keyboard is a touchpad. All right, that's a freaking win. So now that I know that the pathway works, then I can build in only doing warnings and critical errors and things like that, because at least I know the path works. My concern was that it wasn't showing anything previously, and I couldn't tell if it was connected at all or if it just I wasn't getting any errors. So, all right. I'm not satisfied enough to do an up. Actually, I kind of am. I kind of am satisfied enough to do a new version, a new release, because this is actually working now. What does the README say? Doesn't really say anything about it. Ticker. Network graph and ticker. Ticker, yeah. Styling, colors. Continuously, refresh every 5 seconds. The ticker shows all info and critical error warning from the system log. Cool. Save that. Save that. Let's go. All right, we have 2 modified files. Successful fix of system log ticker. What? I spelled commit wrong. System log ticker fixed. 2 files changed, get push. Done. Awesome. All right, so what are we going to do next? Next, this is fun, we're going to make a release. So I have notes for this. Boom. All right, name pi. So we're going to go back to our command. We're going to open up a new command prompt. Drop it. Ah! I didn't think it would hit enter for me. I thought it would let me. Crap. Ah. So it's turning this into a, it's exporting it into a .exe file. I wanted to change some information on it before it did that. But no, it went for it. Windows is freaking out because now there's an unauthorized app being created on it. Fun. Fixing exe headers. Man. Yeah. There's major differences between PowerShell and command prompt in terms of like how you can format those instructions. PowerShell doesn't allow the multi-line one that I just pasted in there. Found that out the hard way last night. All right. There she is. The new pip dash. This is the 1.1. All right, this is the standalone version. Nice, huh? Okay. So now, now we want to what's interesting is it seems to have integrated the icons and imagery into the app. I wasn't expecting that with the instructions I gave it. So I had these instructions saved from, if you're in command, use split command. Like I even, like I pre-saved an export instruction, clean, non-conform, one file, windowed. So I guess, yeah, it must have combined the image files into the .exe, including the little icon here. That's what it looks like on your desktop. So neat. In fact, let's take a look at what it would look like on the desktop. There she is. That's cool. Replace the file. No. Cancel. Yes. All right. So I'll just leave that on my desktop. So I think all I got to do now because this version of the release has a zip file. No, crap. I downloaded it. I just wanted to look inside. Yeah, it's got the logo and everything in there. Like I feel like I should just include that in the release anyway. Like, why not? So that's what I will do. Control. Copy. Paste. Compress to zip file. And this is pip dash v1.1. Got underscore? Underscore. Boom. So now we have a new release. Releases. Draft new release. Release title. 1.1. Select tag. V1.1. Okay. Updates. Optimize to use less CPU and GPU resources. Fixed system log ticker now displays all items in system log event viewer. Learn how to spell. For the last hour. Those are the only two things we fixed. We couldn't get the AMD or Intel GPU issue resolved. C'est la vie. I think that's it. So 2 out of 3, honestly, not bad for the things I wanted to do tonight. That worked. Set as latest release, yes, okay. And then I want to upload a zip file. There we go. Issues. Still only Windows support. Still only NVIDIA GPU load support, I think. Because again, I only have an integrated integrated CPU on my laptop. So maybe it's not reading it. Maybe if you had a dedicated GPU on your system, like Dojo, the guy who discovered this issue. Yeah. This actually, I'm going to download this to the laptop here shortly. Because we didn't try the optimized one exported. Let's pull it over here. Pip dash. 0.6, 0.7, less than 1%. That's what we want. For context, this TRCC point, hold still. 0.2%. That is the digital readout on my CPU cooler that gives me the temps and usage for CPU and GPU. That's like built into the case. So the fact that this is also pulling less than 1%, that's huge. That optimization is huge. I'm hoping it's the same on the laptop. Fingers crossed. Still, anything else? Nope. Let's just call it and publish that release. Boom. 1v1. All right. So if we head on back over to here, the latest release is 1v1. Let's go ahead and grab this baby. There you are. See these horrible photos of me right here? Don't tell anybody. Extract all. Nope, we're going to do it right on the desktop. Did you do it? Go away. Where's version 1.1? There's 1.0. Extract all. Browse. Desktop. Select folder. Extract. Why did it put it in a folder called dist? That's weird. Yes, it's my app. I'm fine with it. Maybe I should add licenses to this. I've been reading about that. Okay, so yes, our GPU load is still not reading. Fine. But our event viewer along the bottom there is working. I'm not happy about it. It's still pulling 7, 8%. Two, 4, 7. Yeah. It's not ideal. Specifically, why is it listing 2 items here? Vault-Tec monitor and pip-v1. Okay. I should probably change this at the top to say pip-2. Shouldn't say Vault-Tec monitor. But say la vie. 7, 5. I mean, that's a far cry from like 8, 9, 10 it was before, but gotta maybe ask Codex to take another look at some optimization options. But anyway, there is our Fallout themed system monitor, complete with brand new system log ticker. What is this? Broker plugin settings .dat 2148, which is a few minutes ago. Touch, that was the keyboard, transferring over to the laptop. See? Quality assurance verification. I wonder if there's, no, it's a system log, not an app log. So, all right, that is all for this evening. The latest release that I just put up, version 1.1, is available at the GitHub, linked below. Grab it, play with it. If you have any feedback, criticisms, anything, feel free to comment. Send me a DM on Instagram. Like and subscribe. But all in all, thank you very much for hanging out and watching all this tonight. And we'll see you on the next one.